There we are. Gosh, it takes a while for this to connect. I bring it up on my computer, mute my sound. Okay, let's see. Well, it's not showing me in my chat. There we go. Oh, it's showing me a commercial. That's why. Hey, Rita. Let me just set up my goal. Hey, Jamie James. Haven't seen you in a while, my dear. Hey, Kathy. Just setting up my screen. Okay. Got that set up. Let me just type in the message. You've been busy. Hey, Kathy. I know I'm going on a little early today, but I just want to get this thing going. There we go. Got that set up. Let me pin it. Yeah, I wish I could do all this ahead of time, but I can't. Let's see. All the regulars are in here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot new to report, but there are several news stories that came out that are like little updates on the Nancy Guthrie case. So I'll just give it a few minutes to get some people in. There are a few updates. Nothing, shocking, earth shaking, but just, little things that give me hope. We talked about this a little bit before with the FBI with some new technological tools that they may be using. Like I said, I came on a little early. A lot of people might just be watching this on the replay. So I'll make it quick. Just want to give the audience a few minutes to come in. Hey, we got 14 people in already. I am April Davis PI. I'm a California licensed private investigator located in Los Angeles, and I've been reporting on the Nancy Guthrie missing persons case since February the 2nd of 2026. Her last day seen was January 31st, 2026. It is believed she was kidnapped on February 1st. That was 122 long, long days ago. Yeah, I can't believe I'm still doing this. Like, I know there's other news going on in the world, but I want to find Nancy. No matter, even if the worst has happened, I still want Miss Nancy to be found so that the family can have some sort of closure here. And there are several updates. One from the Pima County Sheriff, uh, another one from a forensic scientist, and another one. It's an update from the FBI, or actually, it's from someone else, but it's regarding the FBI's next moves in this case. They hid her body. Well, most likely, I would think. Hi, Joyce. So the first one, which isn't huge, and it seems like this is a little late in the game to be asking for this, but it says Pima County Sheriff makes a new urgent request. It's 122 days into this, and now this is their latest. The search for Nancy Guthrie, the missing Tucson mother of Today Show co host Savannah Guthrie, continues with no new details on a suspect or a motive. However, the investigation is very much active, and the Pima County Sheriff has made a new urgent request. According to a June 1st article by KVOA TV, with Guthrie's disappearance day hitting 121, that was yesterday, the Pima County Sheriff's Department has opened a link where homeowners in the surrounding community can submit relevant footage. The link is labeled Pima County Sheriff's Department Arizona Evidence Portal, or is it no A to Z? It just says AZ. AZ Evidence Submission Portal. Well, the FBI, they did this starting day 5. They went around to the neighbors and asked for any video footage. And I believe the sheriff's deputies did that as well, the detectives on the case. But here we are 122 days later. This article is dated yesterday, I guess, 121 days later, that now they have is it the Arizona or AZ? It doesn't say A to Z. It just says AZ Evidence Submission Portal. Okay, so you can download your Ring and your Nest doorbell cam, which probably already recycled after 30 days. Rainy day. The sheriff was completely incompetent. Yes. Nobody runs this type of case this way. It just doesn't happen. And another thing, here's the next piece. I mean, these are just little snippets that are coming out. But it says the Pima County Sheriff's Department is calling Nancy Guthrie a missing endangered adult. Still, after 122 days, the Sheriff's Department is proceeding as if Guthrie is still alive, referring to her as a missing endangered adult. Huh? The department labeled the request for video footage urgent. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is urgently requesting your assistance in locating Nancy Guthrie, 84, who was last seen on the evening of January 31st at her residence near East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue, the website portal says. If you have any information, please contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900, another number, 88-CRIME, or use the attached QR code to submit any piece of information that you feel may be helpful. What? Meanwhile, experts continue to offer theories in the case. 122 days later, hey, do you have any video left over? Come on, people. A forensic scientist believes the suspect might be a handyman who believed Nancy Guthrie was rich. Very possible. A forensic investigator named Barbara Butcher is floating a new theory in the long simmering case. I find it flabbergasting that anyone that would take a woman of her age, but what I think is probably the case is that someone in the area, maybe a handyman, maybe a service person, had found out that Miss Guthrie was the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Once again, I call that the Savannah factor, and said, oh, she must be rich. According to Barbara Butcher, who told this to Fox News. So this person is not well. Okay, and then it just ends. Authorities have said little about the suspect or motive, but they did release a series of chilling door camera photos and videos early on that they believe showed the suspect at Guthrie's front door. He was armed, masked, and carrying a backpack. Old news. The Pima County Sheriff previously said that Nancy's pacemaker disconnected from her Apple Watch in the early morning hours of February 1st. Authorities also revealed that droplets of Guthrie's blood were discovered on her front stoop. See, there's just no new news to report. However, no suspect name has publicly emerged. Guthrie was last seen by her family members who dropped her off after she had dinner at the Tucson home of her daughter, Annie Guthrie. However, the sheriff has definitively ruled out any of Guthrie's 3 kids or their spouses in connection with her death. Early on, a series of ransom notes demanding Bitcoin were sent to various media outlets, but authorities have never said for sure whether those notes were penned by the suspect. Well, whoever wrote the first 2 knew where the Apple Watch was and knew that the back porch flood lamp was broke. They have also said they have not said whether they believe Nancy is alive or deceased. In addition, Nancy's family has offered a large reward for information leading to her recovery. Blah, 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 blah. We've already gone over this. Now, we talked about this, or I talked about this a couple of days ago. Nancy Guthrie update, FBI's next move could unmask the suspect. New FBI technology being used in the Nancy Guthrie case could help investigators make a breakthrough as they continue working through key evidence. Remember, they have thousands of pieces of evidence to go through as far as videos, cell towers, maybe computer records, phone records. Yes, Patty Porter says nothing new, but they keep airing. Yeah, what are they going to write about? 12 years later, they haven't found MH370. They're still writing about it. Hello, Jewel. In a recent interview, CEO and founder of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases spoke with Fox News Digital's Mike Ruiz. Ruiz had previously reported that the FBI is bringing in some new tools to help in the case. Though he was not given specifics, he said he believes these tools are technology based. Yeah, we talked about that before. That's it. Like, there's nothing new to report. Hopefully, they have more than the rootless hair that's now at least at the correct lab. But see, it's just every day is just blah, 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 blah. It's not like anything new. So, these videos, I guess, are just going to have to get shorter and I don't know, further shorter. And I don't know if I should still go every day. I'm like at a crossroads now. Like, what do I do? Like, how long can we talk about the same news over and over and over again? Oh, hey, Kirsty. Welcome in. Hello, Paula. Uh, you know, this is all old news. Now, I do believe, based on my conversation with the retired FBI agent, that they have so much evidence to go through with 50,000 tips and all the electronic things that they're doing and the technological things that they are doing, like maybe even how to trace that Bitcoin address. Maybe they're working on that. They still haven't been able to find out who sent those emails to TMZ. They don't know whose Bitcoin account that is, but yet I hear it's very traceable. That's why they dumped a little bit of money into that Bitcoin account. I've heard maybe around $300 just to see if the fish would bite. But they weren't that stupid. They didn't bite. Yeah. I mean, what else can I say? Jamie James says it is really all about money with these types of cases. Yes. Uh, let's see. This guy. See ya. Let's see. I know it's getting funny. But most of the comments are very positive. I'm still getting new viewers that are coming in and new subscribers, but I'm going to tell them if they're watching now just to go to my Nancy Guthrie playlist. Go to my true crime playlist or my Nancy Guthrie playlist or my news playlist and just watch all the videos on this. I do have a long form content video regarding the suspect list, but that's over a month old. So that's sort of outdated, but not really. I'm doing these live highlights now. I don't make them. YouTube makes them, and then I just, update the date. Um, and you can link like today's video to those highlights, so people might see the highlight and they may be inclined to click today's video or to subscribe. They don't really make me any money, the highlight videos, because I think shorts pay less than a penny per view, so I won't get rich off of those. Um, but yeah, like, what's the deal here? Like, how are they going to solve this? I kind of doubt it's going to be through genealogy because 23andMe and Ancestry.com, apparently those are closed doors to law enforcement. Um, I mean, anything is possible. The hair might lead them to somebody, but it might not. It could be someone who's not in CODIS, or it could be a hair that's not related to this case. Apparently, the police did not find that hair. The FBI found that hair, which is kind of shocking considering they didn't start their investigation until day 5. The CSI people had already released the scene. Like, at first I heard it was 20 hours, then I've heard it was 30 hours, now I've heard it was 36 hours. But it was under 2 days, whatever it was. And FBI didn't even arrive at the property until day 5. Although Sheriff Nano said, oh, they were involved from the very beginning. Well, the FBI, the head of the FBI, Cash Patel, says no, they weren't involved until day 5. And then they had a fixed wing aircraft waiting to take any evidence, and it was instead sent to Florida by Nanos because, his big ego. Uh, this is just I can't believe it. It's day number 122. I'm just sitting here today like, well, do I go on now or do I go on later? Like, how many people are going to come in? Then I'm going to get the haters that are going to, write in the comments like, oh, you're just talking about the same old BS. Well, yeah, there's nothing more. And the story I reported yesterday regarding the guy that dog is looking for, there's been no further updates on that. And we still don't know if that's just a separate issue or if that's something big related to the case. Um, Joyce says, I know some days I feel like just giving up, but something keeps pulling me back in. Game over. I know. I know. Well, I enjoy meeting all my new friends here, and I really enjoy, the channel support that I've got. I'm already up to over 3,000 subs in this case, or not in this case, but on my channel. But a lot of them have come in from this case. We're at 3128 right now, which that's like this big for a YouTube channel. Um, I barely make enough royalties from the views to even get a check every month, but the people that have been throwing me the super chats and the super thanks, and that's rare. I think I've got 2 super thanks, but I've had probably, I don't know, over 100 super chats or something. It's a lot. I have logs on it, but I'm not doing this for the money. But things have come up. So all relating to case expenses here. Yesterday I did a court search and got a lot of information about that guy, that Kenny Rowland guy, but I haven't heard anything more about that. Um, we're still waiting to find out how long the FBI or the lab that they sent the hair to is going to take. I've heard it could be months, that it could be many months, especially if it's a mixed sample and they're not able to separate it. And is it, if it's mixed with what? I mean, I would think, if I pulled a single strand out of my hair and laid it on somebody's bed, that would be it. But they're saying it's a mixed sample. So, um, was there like potentially blood or bodily fluids in the house that were discovered as well? We know about the blood at the front door that was determined to be Nancy's right away. I mean, they were able to do that immediately. I would suspect they took some DNA from the family or something because they were able to identify that blood like within a few days of this case. But what about, was there blood evidence in the house? Is there any blood besides Nancy's blood? If they're only going after a single strand, a partial strand, not even a rooted strand of hair, and the whole case hedges on that, then this case is in trouble. But I would like to be positive and think that they have a lot more. And I think they have a lot more video footage of Front Porch Guy and that we're not seeing. And they're going to be able to enhance some things. And they may be able to identify a car that's in the background. I think it could be something like that. Or as it turns out, these ransoms that seem to be so janky and fake and hoaxed that, remember the FBI said from the beginning they thought there was credibility to those first 2 notes. Wonder if there is. How did the writer know about where the Apple Watch was located and how did they know about the broken floodlight? That was information that had not been released. Remember, they never released the 911 call. The writer of that note knew that. Now, because they're saying that the first 2 may have been credible, although Savannah said she never saw them, but the FBI thought they were credible, that makes me wonder if the third set of notes that were sent, also regarding Bitcoin, could they have been credible? Could they have been from somebody that has knowledge of this crime? Maybe they weren't involved, but they knew who was. But yet you have $1.2 million on the table and nobody's come to claim it. And then some of the FBI experts, have said, well, maybe that's because there's only one person involved. I don't believe that. I think that this was a group, at least 2, probably more. I still think the group, the worker bees, and the ringleaders. I still think number 1 or number 2, Savannah Factor, all the way, because she is the mother of a rich celebrity. That's the top one on my list. Or it'll end up being like any other crime of a person who is abducted, kidnapped, or unalived. It'll be a 75 to 92% chance that it's somebody she knows, whether it's family, friends, neighbors, a worker that came to the house. And speaking of that, I remembered this case when I was thinking about that. There was, I'm sure you guys know who Ashton Kutcher is, the Hollywood actor. He was going on a date back in February of 2001 with this young gal that he met at a New Year's Eve party. Her name was Ashley Ellerin, and he had watched the Grammys at a friend's house and was going to come pick her up and take her to dinner and to a post Grammys party, but he was late. And it was, I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing that he was late because minutes before he got there, she was unalived by a serial killer. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. And they didn't catch this guy right away. This happened in LA in 2001 in the Hollywood Hills. They caught the guy in 2008, and he wasn't convicted here in Los Angeles County until 2019. And Ashton was a key witness in that trial. I remember that. And my very close friend, in fact, my best friend, she knew Ashton Kutcher. She had done some work for him. And coincidentally, she also knew Bruce Willis. And that's how I knew Bruce, but I never knew Ashton. But I followed this case from day one. And when it was all said and done, it turned out this guy was a serial killer, and he was brought to her property to repair the air conditioner. Yeah, and even the apartment manager was a suspect in this case because he had had a little tryst with this girl, Ashley. And she was, 22 years old. She was a fashion design student. She was just starting her life. And her roommate must have been out for the night and came home the next morning and found her, um, well, let's just say a knife was used 47 times. And that's all I'm going to say. And, Kutcher at the time, he was freaking out because he thought she was in the apartment. He kind of looked through the window. He thought he saw, it was dark. It was late at night, but he thought he saw what looked like a wine stain on the carpet. And he was like, hey, and he was calling like, knock, knock, knock. And he even put his hand on the door handle, like to try to open the door, but the door was locked. And finally he thought, well, I guess she must have left. She must be upset with me. And she left. And he went home that night dejected, you know. So it's not like he had an alibi. He had an alibi during the party, but this M happened, literally minutes before he got there because the neighbors had heard what they thought was arguing or screams. And then literally minutes later, he shows up late and doesn't realize that she's in the house laying on the floor, you know, in pieces. I mean, it was really, really bad. And, even when that happened, I don't believe that the police um, had his car in custody or went to his house for 5 or 6 weeks. Um, they were also looking at the apartment manager, but I don't think any of these people had the type of CSI workups that the people in this case have had. Just saying. Still red flags to me. Doesn't mean that I'm saying anybody's involved in this, like her family, but, you know, it could be a family member, it could be, a neighbor, it could be a handyman working in the area. There's just so many what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. But I don't think we're going to find out that it's some like, drug cartel came up from Mexico and snatched an 84-year-old woman. Kathy. Oh, thank you so much. You are one of my biggest supporters. Everybody, give Kathy a thumbs up on the first super chat of today. Appreciate that. It all adds up. Uh, let's see. It's only, remember, it's June 2nd, and I still don't know the totals for June 1st because it takes a couple days for that to process. So I'm just like, oh my God, we start over again. While it takes YouTube 3 weeks to process the May payment at the very earliest. So thank you so much. And you know what? Good news. When I got off this case, I don't want to just be like, I don't want you guys to feel like, hey, send me something. But I got off the video yesterday and I went to my email, and a person who's been a repeat buyer at the Amazon wishlist store had bought a couple of Uber Eats gift cards. Now, obviously, I don't have them yet because they were just, bought last night, and they'll have to take a couple days, and then I'll have to go pick them up at the mailbox in Studio City. But, and I'm not gonna name the person, but it's a man, and he has sent a lot of gifts in the past, including my Getty microphone. Like, I don't know who this guy is, and I know a lot of you guys just because of your usernames or you guys send me emails, but to this day, I don't know who this man is that's watching these videos, obviously. I don't think it was a coincidence that, just when I got off the air, boom, something came in. So, whoever you are, thank you so very much. You know who you are. That's going to be a tremendous help to me. In LA, it seems like that's my second largest bill next to my astronomical rent, uh, is groceries. So thank you for sending those cards. I will pick them up later this week. Elijah Man, is that you? Your name doesn't match the. I've never seen you before, Elijah Man. I doubt that's you. Send me an email and identify yourself. It's your other account. I don't know. I haven't seen. Doesn't doesn't the names don't. They're not anywhere similar, but that is a Bundenberg sent to me by my viewers. Yeah, there was a couple people that sent that this past week. Probably someone who gets timed out regularly. I don't think so. Um, I don't know who it is. I mean, I have a name that Amazon has, but I cannot match it to anybody that's watching the show, and it's a man. Now, it could be a woman that's doing it, and maybe they're married and their Amazon account is under her husband's name. It could be something like that. I don't know. Um, I'm not even gonna dare ask Elijah. Okay. It is a great drink. Yeah, I'll just drink about, like, probably a half, and then I can even put the lid back on and put it in the refrigerator. But, yeah, so thank you to whoever did that. Um, but, yeah, like that case that I mentioned earlier with Ashley Ellerin, that happened in 2001. The guy didn't get caught till 2008. And it didn't hit the trial on this one because remember, he had unalived other people. This trial for her case didn't happen until 2019. It was 18 long years later. And this guy had been doing this since he was 17 years old. He had a neighbor in Illinois. Hey, my member is using. See, Kathy, she's just showing to the audience that if you are a member, you will have access to 4 additional emojis. That's the first time I've seen a member use one of the personalized emojis, and I had to create those myself. And that wasn't an easy thing to do because I am not artistic. And that was before AI because I created those the first time that I was briefly monetized, and they only allow you to do 4. And then as your membership grows and you get more members, channel members that is, not subscribers, but members, then YouTube allows you to create more emojis. So, uh, let's see. Oh, hey, Curmudgeon, Alaska. Hey, I was just thinking about you. And you know why? Let me show you. I mean, just off topic for a moment. It's hard to see with the green screen, but I got one of these little cheap bags through Amazon. Or no, did I get it direct? No, I got it directly. There's probably literally crumbs in this bag. And it's called the Gold Crumbs. The deal is still on the table, Curmudge. Just hear me out. And I know you're a very busy man, especially since there's breakup season in Alaska and you guys can actually start working on the house rebuild and, securing it up, which is the most important thing. But if you take a day off from all that work you have on your property and you just happen to go out with a shovel and a bucket, it doesn't even have to be a big bucket, curmudge, uh, and you send some dirt, just saying, because I know you'd have to take the train and go into town and all that BS. But if you just happen to be in town picking up all your fan mail, you know, maybe you could slap a postage label on it. It's going from Alaska to California. It's not like it's going to go to Canada or something. And I will pay you for not only the postage, the box, the packaging, whatever you have to pay, but I can in exchange, I can send you something that, you and Sarah could really use for the property or for the house or for the cabin. Oh, there's Kathy. She now used, the Amelia Kinsley icon, that little emoji. And there's little Kelsa, the kitty, and then the smiley. Yeah. Those are my favorites. The one of the rabbit and the one of the cat. Um, Thank you for showing that. Since you are a member, you were able to use the customized emoji. So I'm just saying, Kermudge, I'm just saying, like, when you have a free moment, you know, and you could just put some dirt, it could be in a bag for all I care. I just said, a bucket of dirt out of that creek that's running through your beautiful, gorgeous property because I know there's some gold in that creek. And I don't care how much or how little, that would be the most thrilling thing I've ever done. If I could, that's always been my dream to like be able to, take a shovel and go into a creek in Alaska and brings home some pay dirt. Um, okay, Elijah, enough is enough, man. You're out of here. Hey, Susan K, welcome in. Uh, might be like I'm in the air, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, a little bit of gold. And speaking of that, I don't know if you've heard of Gold Baron up in Washington, but I bought a tenth of a gram bag, a very, very tiny bag. Of course, it wasn't as tiny as a crumbs bag, uh, and it had 0.22 grams. So it was almost a quarter for a dime. You know, and no, we're not talking about. It's funny. There's this guy, this other YouTuber I watch, who's a big YouTuber on the Nancy Guthrie case, and he was always talking about rugs. And I was like, huh? Now I know what he was talking about. So yeah. You guys probably think we're talking about rugs, like dime bags and quarter bags. No, we're talking about good old fashioned pay dirt. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Uh, we do not get much fan mail as of yet. I don't believe that, Kermudge. Like, you are huge, buddy. You will be going out prospecting this coming weekend. Cool. Like I said, I'm serious. I will pay for any expenses that you have, as far as the postage, you know, eh, I'm sure you have to would buy, a box or a secure bag, something where it's not going to explode in the mail, obviously, you know, uh, tape or, labels, whatever it costs you to do this, I will reimburse you immediately, whether you have PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. I will shoot you the money immediately. And then you're going to tell me what you and Sarah could use for the property, whether it could be a food item, it could be, I don't know if does Sarah like chocolate. I know I sent you guys that once for Christmas, but or some type of tool or something you need from Amazon, um, a gift card, that you could use online, that you could buy something you need for the property. Because I know there's so much to do with the cabin renovation and the repairs of the house. Just let me know what I could send from the lower 48 that would be of great help to you in Alaska, and I will ship it to the the P.O. box. Just let me know. Okay, Curmudge says, I am serious. We don't, maybe 12 envelopes a year, mostly during the holidays. Now, that's a silly question. Of course, she likes chocolate. Well, let me know what kind of chocolate, because I don't remember. I think I might have sent you guys GR Deli once for Christmas. I don't remember. And I sent some lottery tickets, or I think a ticket, and two different people that I sent to won. In fact, GP and Mama Bird won, and they didn't send the ticket back till like more than a year later, and it had like 40 or 50 bucks on it, and it was too late to cash it. Like, money down the drain. I mean, like, if I send you a lottery ticket and you win, make sure you get it back to me. Hey Turgut. Uh, that back screen looks like oceanfront property in Arizona. I know, right? No, it's just sitting out in the sand. Uh, yeah, I try to switch it up a little bit. Maybe I need to get some more, scenes in Pima County. Somebody came in here once and said, "Is that a mental institution in the background?" I was like, "What? Like, are you serious? Like, that's Nancy Guthrie's $1 million house." Um, I had to slow down on making the sweets because she says she does not want to gain weight. Okay, well, just let me know, what I can send. Hey, Jesse Jewel sent a flower. Thank you so much. First jewel of the day, Sarah. Uh, LOL, you sending gifts to Alaska. I'd love something from you. uh, Send me an email, Sarah. You might be surprised. Yeah, but you know what? You know, you don't have to do this, Curmudge, but if you can, it doesn't have to be a lot. But don't worry about like, oh, this is too much and it's going to be too heavy and it's going to cost too much, because I will reimburse you um, for everything. And welcome in, Sarah. I haven't seen you before. Yeah, it takes a while for the chat to re-upload, so you'll have to email me that address. Are you in the Kenai Peninsula, Sarah? Jesse Jules, seen where they found one of the missing scientists today that conveniently had both of her cell phones factory reset. They found the scientists or they found the phones? Rose Margaret, hope everyone is doing okay. Welcome in, Rose. Yeah, I have a couple stories on that. Shipping is not much. I use if it fits, it ships. However you do it. I'm new here. Yes, I'm on the Kenai Peninsula. Wow. That's so cool. I had somebody else that came in here the other day from Alaska. In the town where it's a ghost town because they have like a creature, and it's on the Kenai Peninsula. Oh, I can't remember what it was called, Port something, Alaska. And I'm like, oh, where is that? So that's cool. Other Alaska people coming in. But I'm serious, Curmudge. Let me know, since if you go to the trouble of doing this for me. And by the way, mail from Alaska usually gets to me like super quick. Um, in Nikiski, which is North Kenai. Okay, I'll look that up. They found the lady. She was 53. Was she alive or deceased, Jesse Jewel? Because I think the count up, body count is up to 18 or 19 of these scientists that are disappeared. Some of them have been found deceased, and a lot of them have never been found, including that general who disappeared from his home in New Mexico. That's kind of what got this whole thing started, because he was a general. And then they realized, like, ooh, maybe his case is connected to some of these other cases. And then it just like opened the floodgates, and all these, scientists started disappearing right before Disclosure Day, which, by the way, I have some videos on. There are some videos I have a few months ago about some of these missing scientists and government workers and Disclosure Day. Uh, I don't know what the county is, but it's ridiculous. Okay, I'm lost here. So yeah, no pressure, Curmudge. But please, I really want you guys to think about, because I know that you know you're remote Alaska and there's no roads. It's not like you can just say, "Hey, I got to go down to Target and pick this up." Like, it's impossible. And there's only so much um, in the closest town that you are to that would have like, you know, there's no mainstream stores. I don't think um, in Talkeetna. So, if there's something you need from a store or from Amazon, something that is shippable to Alaska, please let me know, and I will be happy to get it for you. Oh yeah, Portlock, that was it. Yeah, I looked that up afterwards and I'm fascinated on it. I want to watch some YouTube videos on that town. I am obsessed with learning about Alaska and watching people in Alaska. That's how I found you, Curmudge. Or no, I might have found you through the gold community. That might have been it. But either way, I was like, oh wow, this guy's in Alaska. I have to watch. And I'm hooked. Count, not county. Okay. Um, Oh, yeah, I don't know what the count is, but it's ridiculous. Yeah, the body count on the missing scientists and government workers. A lot of these people are, working for companies that work for NASA, and it's all the UFO stuff. Curmudge, we avoid town like the plague. I have to go back to town on the 11th to get the rest of my granite for the kitchen. I found 2 countertops on Facebook Marketplace for 200. That's awesome. Well, in I don't have to receive your package first in order to send my package to you, Curmudge. So, I mean, I can start working on that on my end now. If you just let me know um, what you need. Sarah says you should come visit. You'd love it here. I probably would, although I am a warm weather kind of gal. So, and at my age with all my health things, I need to be close to my doctors and, you know, close to a big city hospital. But yeah, I would love to, if I were younger, to live out on a property out in the middle of the bush like that. It's just so, I mean, it's not me because I'm a city gal, but I'd be out there in that creek every day. And just, the bears and the wolves, and that would be awesome. I will send a picture later of how it looks so far. Thank you. Yeah, I've been watching the cabin, but I know you also have the house project, the main house, on your plate, Curmudge. So I know, and there's only a limited amount of months because, you got summer maybe 3 months of the year and 9 months out of the year is, winter and the ground is frozen. So I know you have a very short window to do the projects that you need to do before you have to start preparing for the next winter because that weather can turn very, very quickly. Hopefully you don't have a a horribly rainy summer and you have some dry days. It's almost 70. Oh, wow. That's awesome. But yeah, like don't worry about the cost. You got to let me know so that I can reimburse you for the expenses and then let me know in exchange what I can do for you and Sarah. 90 in California. Well, I'm in California and it's so nice here today that my air conditioner hasn't even turned on. The only thing that'll turn on my AC is when I turn on my oven at night because I'm in a small place. Where are you located in California, Michelle? What is almost done? Need to get ready to put the metal roof on the cabin. Yeah, you don't want any leaks. Jay, hello, Jay, waiting on DoorDash. And I was watching the video last night, Jay, where we were talking about your salmon and your strawberry shortcake. And there was a couple times in the latter part of the video that I kept saying strawberry cheesecake. And then I was like, but I knew it was strawberry shortcake. I even looked up, there is a BJ's in Burbank in downtown. And I actually could see the menu and see exactly that dessert that you guys ordered for your anniversary. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I listened to the video and I was like, strawberry cheesecake. Like, oh my gosh. But I'm glad you guys had a good evening. You're in Modesto. Oh, 78 in Indiana. Humble. Oh my God. If you guys are interested in the silver stacking community, I know he's not true crime, but if you're interested in the silver stacking community, this is the guy to watch. At work, stopping by to say hi. Well, hello, Humble. How are you doing? You mean me or you? You. I've been into this for 5 years and 5 months, soon to be 5 years and 6 months by the end of this month, and I'm sitting at a lowly 3128. Uh, Now that would be okay if I was just had been doing this a year, but I've been doing this for 5 years. So, oh, you mean me? I think it's this true crime story that's helped me build because as a licensed PI with 42 years of experience, I'm actually talking about things that I know, and it seems to be working. You are growing humble. You're in Philadelphia. I love Philly because I spent time there as a child. I have a very sentimental place in my heart for Philly. Herschenful. Ah, yes, you says. Yeah, you're too nice, Humble. Oh, by the way, Humble, I'm still waiting for my prize, but no rush. I'm just saying, Humble. I know you work very hard and you have your 3 beautiful daughters to take care of, but, I keep watching the video, waiting for the mail calls, like, because I have a little something to send back to you, Humble. Um, I got a few ideas because I want to say thank you. Anything new on Nancy? Yeah, I was just going over some of the news stories today, Jay. It's at the beginning of this video. The FBI apparently is using there's some new tool that they're going to have to use or have access to that is technologically related. We don't know if it's related to video or if it's related to DNA or if it's related to possibly getting an ID on that cryptocurrency account, the Bitcoin account. Thank you, Kermudge. Thank you so much. How is Sarah doing today? Yeah, so there's nothing new, but I don't think the case is cold regarding Nancy Guthrie. I do think they know more than what they're saying. And for those that keep sending me comments or asking me here, have I heard yet from the FBI? No, because I did have the call in March and April. Now, I should have made that call second week of February because I basically had certain things wrapped up in my mind by the second week of February on this case. And I hesitated. I waited till March. I didn't have a good experience with the rep. Now, the second rep that I called in April, which you guys pushed me to do, I had better experience with. And then I consulted with a retired FBI agent here in California who is a fellow Cali member like myself. I'm in a group called the California Association of Licensed Investigators. And he suggested that I might get further if I put something in writing. I sent it. Of course, there was a holiday weekend. Apparently, they don't get the mail Saturday, Sunday, Monday on a Memorial Day weekend. They got it Tuesday. It was signed by a person. So it's there. Now, have I heard anything? No. Have I got any spam calls from an Arizona area code? No. I hope they leave me a message because I've heard that while I'm doing these lives and I turn off my notifications, that if someone calls me and they don't leave a voicemail, that I have no record of the call. So if anybody's trying to call me during this live that knows me personally, please leave a voicemail or I won't be able to know that you called. And the ringing phone or the pill alarm or anything like that going off could somehow kicks out my audio on my YouTube live. So that's why I try to remember to turn off all notifications on my phone. And then sometimes when I'm done, I forget to turn them back on. um, Kermudge says she is doing good. We are about to go out looking for more mushrooms. Nice. Now, those are obviously the edible ones, the wild mushrooms that grow in Alaska and South Central. This isn't sofa sales. They don't have reps. Yeah, well, actually, yes, they do. They have a call center that they have hired. When you call the 1-800 call FBI, they don't have a special agent that's taking your call. They have a hired call center that takes the information. So, yeah, they do. Just saying. Call it yourself. Call 1-800 call FBI, but don't waste your time if you don't have valuable information because that just takes the time away from somebody else's call. Hey, Maggie. Hey, Sue Brock Schmidt. Yeah, I'm kind of at the end of this today. If you watch the replay, you'll see within the first 15 or 20 minutes the news for the day. Uh, it's a morel type of mushroom. I'll look that up. Just like I want to watch a video on Portlock, Alaska. I was fascinated when somebody came in from Portlock. Like, I'm having so many people come in from different corners of the world. It's just amazing. I even had someone come in the other day from Iceland, Ecuador. Had a couple people came in from Russia yesterday. I've got my New Zealanders, my Aussies, my Europeans, occasionally South America. Of course, a lot of Americans, Canadians, and people from the UK. It's an amazing thing. Now, I'll never be like Kermudge, like where I'll just, I'll go out and make a long form video and it'll just catch the algorithm and boom, I'll have like 60,000 subs. Like, oh my God, I wouldn't even be able to handle that. You can watch it later. It's dinner time here. No problem, Sue Brock. Uh, Hi, Janice. Nobody lives in Portlock anymore? They came in, said they were either in or near Portlock, Alaska, and then uh, they mentioned this creature, and I was like, huh? I thought it was like an Indian tribe. All right, I was like, what? Or like a native tribe. Maybe they lived near Portlock. I don't know. That's where they said they were, but maybe they were just scamming me too. But they seem to know a lot about the history. Uh, it's interesting though, because I'm like, oh, I never heard of that. But there's a lot of like, things that are strange that go on in the middle of nowhere. And not to get off the Nancy Guthrie topic here, but Kermudge, do you ever hear from there was a YouTuber and her name was Alone in Alaska? I have not seen a video from her in a very long time. Oh, nobody lives in their town anymore. Okay. Oh gosh, absolutely not. I have to take this person out. God, don't even accuse me of something like that. Ah. Oh, I used to look for morel mushrooms with parents as a kid. Mom fried them up fresh. That sounds fun, Kermudge. Just make sure you watch out for the bears and the wolves while you're out on that walk. Remember, you are out in the bush of Alaska. But yeah, we are here talking about Nancy Guthrie, at least I was, but whatever I reported earlier is the most recent things to report. Um, they say a creature killed a bunch of people in that town. The mailman was the last to leave. I think it was him. I'll have to watch that. I'll have to hopefully there's some YouTube videos about it. I just love stories like that, not that people got unalive, but just like, the ghost type of things and, the paranormal, the strange, the unknown. And, Alaska, out of all the states in the United States, has, I think, it has the lowest amount of people, but yet it has the highest per capita of missing people. Yes, we know alone. We have not talked to her in a month or so, but she is fine. Okay. Taking a break from YouTube and working to make some money. Oh, good. I just wanted to make sure she was safe. I could never do what she does, being out in the middle of nowhere by myself like that. And I am sort of a loner person, but I'm a loner person that lives in a big city that has plenty of neighbors and friends around me. I just hadn't seen her lately. Okay, hugs back to you and Sarah. He says, we are out of here to go look for mushies. Talk to you soon. Thank you, Kermudge. Thank you for coming in. I don't know if Humble is still here, but if you are, go check out the Humble Stacker if you're like into silver stacking or coin stacking. You can learn a lot if you're into that. But as far as Nancy Guthrie, there's nothing new other than just these stories that, these all kind of came out of CrimeCon, that there's some new technology that they're going to use for this case, but we don't know what it is. Hey, Mimi. And now, Pima County Sheriff, they're starting a video portal. And we're already into the 5th month. That just came out yesterday, but I didn't see that article till today. Like, hey, if you have any Ring or Nest doorbell footage, I don't think people would have footage going back to the night of February 1st. The mystery case for sure. Yeah. Poor Nancy. Hashtag justice for Nancy. I'm still praying for her, even though I don't think she's with the living anymore. And I pray for Savannah every day. And I'm not a big religious person, but, prayers got me through the stage 3 breast cancer, well, until the heart thing happened. And then I guess I prayed even more for that and I survived it. But, yeah, yellow hearts for Nancy. Everybody throw some yellow hearts into the chat for Nancy Guthrie. That's very kind of you, Janice. She said, this case is making my head hurt. Me too. And I didn't sleep well again last night. And what was keeping me up? I was thinking about this case. I was watching videos on this case from other YouTubers. Um, I was answering emails and comments on all my videos that are people that are just, that are watching regularly, or new people that are finding me saying, oh, I just found you. And, I just subscribed to you. And, but at some point it's like, hey, the sun is coming up and I got to get some sleep. And when the sun starts to come up, that's when Kelsa Kitty decides she's going to scream for an hour. And I get, very upset with her. Hey, cat lady grandma. Yeah, Rose Margaret, you'd think that's the type of thing they'd get on day one. And it's called the AZ portal. Well, as in AZ for Arizona, or like A to Z? I'm just going to go with Arizona portal. Like, is it just for Nancy Guthrie, or is it for any crime in Arizona? I mean, it's set up in Pima County, but why now? The interviews already happened with the neighbors by the police and the FBI. They've already begged people, like, if you have any video, if you saw anything, like, submit it to us. Call us. We'll come take it away. We'll get it off your phone. And and now it's the second day of the beginning of month 5. We're at day number, what was it, 122? I'll have to look at my title. I think it was 122 today. Like, are you serious? I guess I should always, usually before I go on the air, I bring out the calculator. 122. Yeah, I can't believe it. Thank you for the yellow hearts, Rita, Maggie, Cat Lady, Janice. No, there's no updates on Dog the Bounty Hunter, Maggie. I wish there were because I'm still kind of curious, like why Dog is working a case that may have originated here in California. I mean, just because he's wanted on a $325,000 bounty, uh, that's not necessarily why Dog is involved. I mean, I would think so, but he's not a licensed bounty hunter to my knowledge in California. Like, why is Dog really looking for this guy? That's what I want to know. And it is hush, hush, hush. Um, he doesn't usually operate like that unless it's a really, really big fish, like, one of America's most wanted, or, someone that's on the top 10 list of the FBI. I don't understand how these well to do houses don't have security cameras like McCaslin, the scientist. Kat, she did have some cameras, but apparently not enough, and didn't have subscriptions. And the ones that were posted on the house only secured very tiny thumbnails. Is who working? Do you mean Tommaso, the son in law? The son is working. What do you mean? Janice Langley says it's a little too late. Oh, you mean the Arizona portal? I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt, and they still put out their phone number, but yet I heard months ago that they weren't accepting calls, or they didn't have a call center anymore, like the FBI has the call center. Yes, cat lady, us retired, formerly hardworking middle class people have and understand the need for security. Maybe she had a false sense of security because she lived in the house since 1975 and nothing, remotely bad ever happened there. But just her being the mother of Savannah Guthrie and her making appearances on the Today Show, some of which were actually filmed in the bedroom of this house, her own bedroom. Uh, that just opened up a big can of worms right there, in my opinion. I meant to say Dog the Bounty Hunter's son is still working. Is he or isn't he? I don't know. You'd have to ask Dog. It is interesting, though. I did find that story interesting enough to report on it yesterday. If you haven't seen that video is actually doing pretty well. It'll probably do better than, this video because there's just not a lot to talk about. But I do think they're still working on leads. I don't think this is a cold case. And my original belief, my number one belief when I heard about this was, oh my God, the Savannah factor. She is the 84-year-old mom of Savannah Guthrie. Bingo. But we have to look at the what the typical aspects would be as well, as if she were just a regular person who wasn't related to someone famous, and that means 75 to 92% chance that it's family or friends or neighbors or coworkers or someone that works in the house or at the house, but she doesn't just fit into that category. She also fits in, you have to factor in the Savannah factor. UCLA Jen, no. Did I find out any more information on the guy that Bounty is looking for? The Dog the Bounty Hunter. Yeah, we just talked about that. No. Oh yeah, I remember Leland. He's got a couple of sons, actually. I remember Leland. Yeah, he was just a young kid when that all started. Then he had little kids too with Beth. May she rest in peace. She was such a sweetie. I think he has quite a few children of various ages. Well, obviously he would have grandchildren by now. As a celebrity, now this is a good question, Rose. As a celebrity, don't you think that Savannah could have thought about her mother's security? I would. I would, especially since family members typically get threatened. Well, here's a perfect example. There's a pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they spent a lot of money on him last year. And so far, he hasn't worked out. And it was one of those big, big contracts. And, this isn't Philly or New York. This is LA, but the fans were very upset. But this year, because the guy that they got from Puerto Rico from the Mets who's involved in this illegal cockfighting. And, his elbow was already blown out before he was hired by the Dodgers, apparently. Since he's had to have surgery, the guy that they got for, I forget how many millions, it was huge. It might have been like 70 or 80 million. Um, he's now had to take a bigger role because they were going to push him out for this Edwin Diaz. Well, guess what? He blew a game the other night. And that guy's wife, who has they have a small child, and I think they just had another baby. Uh, the wife and the new infant baby and child, his son, because it's him, his wife, a son, and I think she's either pregnant or she just had the new baby. I think she just had the new baby, but his family, they're getting death threats. And it's like big time death threats just because he blew a game. He tossed a pitch right down the middle and somebody hit a home run and it was over. And that doesn't usually happen here in Los Angeles, but I do know from being a PI that there are Dodgers in the past that have had, personal threats to their life and to their family's life. And a lot of times the Dodgers ends up having to pay for their security as well. Like these people don't make enough to afford it themselves. But it's a big story here in Los Angeles that I think her name is Maddie Scott, his wife. She's the wife of Tanner Scott, who is a pitcher for the Dodgers. She and her kids are getting death threats, including the new baby. You know, and that's just the reality of being someone that's either a Hollywood celebrity, a sports figure, even a newscaster, someone who is, in the public eye that has a lot of money. And now they're getting death threats. Jules says, I still think Trump did it. Well, you got to go see my suspect list. Just saying. Mandy's Candy. How are you doing, dear? I haven't seen you in a long time, Mandy. She's one of my dear friends from the gold community. We've had 3 people from the gold and silver community in here today. We have my mod, as you guys know, Curmudge, and we've had the humble stacker, and now Mandy's Candy. Now I haven't seen Hearts lately, who is my other mod from way, way back. I hope Hearts is doing okay up in Maine. So how are you, Miss Mandy? But yeah, like this thing is really happening with the Dodgers right now that, you know, and it was one bad pitch is all it was. He would have got out of the inning, but now his wife and his son and his newborn baby, they're having their lives threatened. And some of these threats seem rather serious. Like it's not being done in a joking kind of way. So, if Savannah, you know, I don't want to blame Savannah. She feels bad enough, but when she talked to Cameron, her brother, the first thing she said is, "Do you think it's because of me?" And he said right away that she's probably been kidnapped, even before the police were using the word kidnapped, even before the ransom notes had arrived. He said she's probably been kidnapped. And then Savannah was crying on the phone. "Do you think it's because of me?" And he was like, "Yes, sweetie." Big Daddy Bugs Bunny knows more about this case than anyone on here. Oh, now you're just pushing me to take you out, Big Daddy. Let me just take you out because I know that it's gonna come at me. Gonna get the pie thrown in my face soon. I understand, Rose. She says, "No, I'm not blaming, but there's such a thing as common sense." We don't know what type of security that she had or didn't have. We know she had cameras, you know, but that little Nest Cam at the door with no subscription, I still can't figure that one out. There were cameras on the side of the house and the back of the house. I've heard rumors they were inside the house and they weren't. We don't know if she had an alarm system inside or out. And that's why I think whoever is involved in this whole soap opera of a crime, that they had intimate knowledge of the property. I hear that you can't even drive into that neighborhood if you're not completely familiar with it, or you would get lost coming in or going out. And at night, there's no street lamps because of the wildlife migration laws. You know, how would they know where the cameras were that were allegedly taken out by the perps? How would they know about the light in the back, the floodlight? Well, obviously she might have had the light on, so that's a no-brainer. If somebody went through the back to get into the front to, open the door to take her or to let, front porch guy in, because we don't know how many were there. But to spend 41 minutes in the house, that's not what a kidnapper does. And you would have to feel very comfortable that there wasn't an alarm system or an inner, middle, outer perimeter type of infrared system or a panic button or even a medical alert for an 84-year-old woman. She could have just, pushed that button. But remember, she didn't have her hearing aids in if she was in bed, and the hearing aids were found on the nightstand. And Savannah did say that it appears that she was literally dragged from her bed. And Savannah knows more about this than we do. A stranger wants to be in and out. Exactly. You wouldn't be able to get out as quickly as you need to get out for a bank robbery, which I've done multiple bank robbery investigations in my career, and it's like lightning fast. And people still get caught, but it's lightning fast. A kidnapping, especially with an 84-year-old woman that's immobile, it's going to take a little longer. But why an 84-year-old woman that has mobility issues that needs, a crap ton of drugs just to stay alive, you know, every 12 hours? It's just, it doesn't make sense unless she was targeted because people thought that either she herself was rich or that, daughter Savannah will come through. The ransom notes are typically not sent to TMZ or news agencies. They're typically left at the scene of the crime or sent to the family. This, like I said, this case has a lot of problems. A lot. And family does need to be excluded, but they need to be excluded immediately, not 40 plus days later. That's a problem too. The two multiple timelines, that's a problem with me because I don't know which it is. And when certain people were notified, that's a problem. But I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not going to be that stupid to come on my YouTube channel and say it was this person, and this person. But I do think that it's a group. And I do think it'll be one of two things. It'll be the Savannah factor, the fact that she's the mother of Savannah Guthrie and Savannah Guthrie has millions of dollars, or it's somebody close to her. And I don't think some random stalker that's just targeting Savannah would have the intimate knowledge of the details of the security, both inside the property and outside the property, nor would they have the knowledge of how to get through that neighborhood. Remember, we have a viewer here who knows the Guthrie family, who knows Savannah, who has lived in that neighborhood for decades and said, April, it's pitch dark and it's like a maze. Like, you would have to know your way around. They knew how to get through the back gate. They knew how to open the back doors. They didn't bust through the security screen to get in that house. Whoever came in that house came in either through the garage because they were already there when she got home, or they came through the back. Jay says, I'm 59 on disability, married, and I have considered a medical alert because I am alone like 12 hours a day. Yeah. And we don't know that she didn't have these. But nothing like that has come out in the investigation that, an alarm was triggered or a panic button or a medical alert was activated. There's just too many red flags in this. But we're not security for Savannah Guthrie. We don't know what threats that Savannah or the family may have already had prior to this going down. And it happens. If you are a celebrity or you are a family member of a celebrity, you have a big giant bullseye on your back. And there's no other way around that. So if it turns out it's the Savannah factor, in this case assault, that's going to crush Savannah. But if it turns out it's the other, that is somebody close to her, like family or friends or a worker in or at the home, that's going to crush Savannah too. Either way, I mean, the worst has already happened. She's been taken, she's gone, she may never be found, she's probably not alive, but it's just going to dig the knife in deeper, I think, when we find out the who, what, when, where, and why. And, let's just pray. Savannah's a very strong person, but this has just got to be the worst thing that's ever happened in her life. Rose says, my aunt lived 4 houses from me. She had a medical alert. That's good. There's so many things that we don't know. Like, I don't know why she didn't have the Nest doorbell subscription. I don't know how many exterior or interior cameras there were. They still haven't definitively said that the police broke those cameras or the kidnappers broke those cameras. We don't know. We don't know why the camera on the roof wasn't looked at right away. And a neighbor had to point that out, that there was a camera on the roof that they had never looked at. I know, Martha Hale. Welcome in. We wish we could hear the 911 call, but you know what? We're not going to hear that till the earliest of trial because that 911 call contains evidence. Oh, I'm on a green screen, JLE. I'm actually sitting at my desk in Los Angeles at my abode by the lake. But I am talking about Nancy Guthrie, so that is her property in the background. And I need to get some more like local photos. I've got my night photos of the desert, but I still need some more daytime photos. So that explains it. Oh, I know, Jay, but they said that they couldn't get a straight answer because they were like the cameras that have like the bubble lamps on them. And did somebody break the glass to get to the cameras, or did they get broken when they were trying to take them off? They've never said definitively that those were broken out by the perp or the perpetrators, but then they would have to know exactly where they were and have the ability to reach them in the dark. It's not like they were down on the ground. They were posted up on along the edge of the home, up near the roof. So they've never given definitive answers. Like at first, they didn't even say if the Nest doorbell was taken by the perp or was taken by the police. They've never said that. They've never definitively said if there was a forced entry or there was no forced entry. There's even rumors that the doors were unlocked in the back and that there was DNA evidence in the house, that there was blood in the house. But no, there's not blood in the house. And, they may have a whole bucket load of evidence from the house, or they may be hedging this whole case on a single hair strand that apparently was overlooked by Pima County and was found by the FBI, possibly within the bed sheet or the bedding or something like that. But this is all, as Nanos would say, speculative. None of this has been confirmed. All we know is that she is gone. No, Maggie, I haven't heard. And the lady works during the day, so I don't see her very often. But I have to tell you that when she comes home from work, I haven't heard the screams. So I have a feeling that when I was on the air Sunday and we heard the screaming cat that was just a horrific howling, I have a feeling that was a one-way drive to the vet. I saw her that evening walk by, But, and maybe it was a good thing that I was on the air when that happened because I would have typically run out there like, "Is everything okay?" Uh, but she probably needed her space at that moment if she was making that fateful drive. Oh, geez. Well, you're never gonna know, are you? Trolls. I guess they gotta play their cards close to their chest. Yes, Rose Margaret, absolutely. You know, if the worst has happened to Nancy and she's no longer with us, I'd like to think that it happened quickly. I hope she wasn't in any pain and she's on the other side and she's with her husband, Charles. That's what I like to think about. Oh, wow, Jay. She says, "Oh my word, and an 80-year-old hobbling woman delivered my DoorDash. So sad." That is sad. That is very sad. You know, there's so many people struggling. I think so, Maggie. But, the cat was very old. I never had a cat that lived that long. And I don't think the cat was well, and they suspect the cat may have had a brain tumor, so I don't know if that was his final ride. But I haven't heard it since that afternoon. And it was just an awful cry that's been going on for months. That's a very hard decision. Do you do it too early? Do you do it too late? Like, did you wait too long? Did you do it too soon? So, I'm just praying that, her little kitty is in a better place as I am praying the same thing for Nancy. And remember, there was still that other YouTuber whose name we won't mention here. I do support all the other YouTubers, even the boots on the ground on this, no matter what their backgrounds are. I support everybody that's trying to find Nancy. But remember, there was that middle of the night recreation of the crime video where those mystery lights came on inside of her house that looked like orbs. Like, that still has never been explained. And as far as I know, there was nobody in that house. Not a single soul at that time. I don't think I'd wanna be in that house right now alone in the middle of the night. I don't think so at all. Keep speaking the truth. Thank you, Curtis. And for the person that keeps sending me the if it's a man who keeps sending me the stuff on the, Amazon wish list, my god, you've done so much. I would love for you to send me an email and, let me know who you are, 'cause I just don't see any similar names in my chat. But not everybody that's watching chats. Some people just don't feel comfortable with that, and, I'll keep your name private, but thank you. Jay says, "Makes me angry, where are her children?" Do you mean Nancy's kids? Do you mean the daughter and the son-in-law and the grandson that have disappeared in Tucson for reasons we don't yet know? I'm assuming for their security since 80% of Tucson or 80% of the people following this case think that they're somehow involved. In Savannah, she couldn't stay out there forever. I mean, she's contractually obligated to her employment. Oh, you mean the DoorDash lady? Who makes me angry, where are her children? Oh, do you mean the DoorDash lady, Jay? Maybe she doesn't have any kids. That is sad, Jay. Give her a nice tip if you can. I think you can always, adjust the tip later in the app, and you can up it. Yeah, I saw a video, went viral last year, I think it was last year, where a lady was delivering pizzas. It might have been Domino's, and she was an elderly woman, and she tripped and fell, like, bad on somebody's front porch, and there was, like, a doorbell camera that caught it, and she smashed all the food, and she, like, was injured. And the people came out of the house, like the homeowner, it was a guy, and he, picked her up, and she was all like, she was in really bad shape, and she was so, like, disturbed, like, "Oh my god, I destroyed your food," like, but she was seriously injured, this woman, and he was totally cool about it, like, "Oh, don't worry about the pizza, like, don't worry about it, like, are you okay?" And it just went viral because everybody was like, "Oh my god, that lady, she's disabled, she's too jacked up, but she has to do that job," and then she tripped, and instead of worrying about, potentially bleeding to death or being, having a broken bone, she was more worried about the guy's order. Um, it's true, Rose, that could be it too. Maggie says, "When I was delivering mail," oh, that would be fun. "Many elderly had no family." Yeah, that's true. I've interviewed a lot of elderly people in cases, whether it's someone who's alone or it's a couple, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll talk to you, but we're gonna meet you at a restaurant and we're gonna pay for it." And I'm like, "No, no, you don't have to. I'll just come to your house and we'll." No, no, no. You're gonna meet us at a restaurant on the beach in Ventura, and we're gonna buy you lunch." And then you do the job, but you gotta sit there and eat with them, and then they don't want you to leave. Or they're like, "Can we send you a gift?" Like, "No, you don't need to send me a gift." Or, "Can we keep in contact with you?" You people are lonely. Um, I would never allow my mom to do that. I know. Yeah, I don't have any kids. I got my Thai kids, but, they're not my biological kids, and sometimes they're very, almost like my own kids, and sometimes they're not, because 'cause I'm not their bio mother. And you know what? The bunny and the cat can't call 911. And I know realistically, if I don't just drop from what's happening already, that at some point I will be, too old to be here by myself alone. So yeah, Maggie, my aunt had no kids. Myself and two other nieces cared for her. Thank you. It takes a village, as Hillary Clinton would say. It takes a village. And I think it's going to take a village to get down to the bottom of this Nancy Guthrie kidnapping investigation. It's going to take a village to solve this. So, Nanos, open up your heart and your mind. And, I think it's too late, though. I think it's too late for him to backpedal and for all the damage that was done in the beginning of the case to be undone. Uh, Martha says, "I am 70. I just retired working 3 months ago. I hope I can make it on my retirement and Social Security, but who trusts an RN that old?" uh, you will never solve it. You mean me? I'm not working on the case. Blue Dragon. I hope it's solved, but it does take a village. And I do think all these YouTubers are keeping the case relevant. It's very important to keep this relevant. We can't just, move on from this. I mean, the world does go on, you know, but you never know. Somebody who's involved in this or who knows somebody's involved could be watching my video right now. And if you are, I encourage you to call 1-800 um, call FBI. 1-800 call FBI or call the Pima County Sheriff or call 88 crime. Call Crime Stoppers. Hey, Kathy. Well, Blue, we do have other cases on here. If you're just, go to the playlist and you can see we have other missing persons cases on here. Uh, Half hawk, half man. Are we still on Nancy Guthrie or okay to talk about your cool detective stories? I don't have any cool ones today. You are being lied to. Wavy gravy. About what? Do we have some trolls coming in? Get to work, nanos. Exactly. Oh, gosh. Well, I guess I'm going to wrap this up because there's not a whole lot to report today, sadly, as usual. But I did read my, 3 stories to you in the beginning of the video. So if you're watching this on the replay or you just came in later, go back to the beginning. Hey, moving on up. I'm doing all right. Well, I haven't wrote a book yet, half hawk, half man. Hey, Arizona Desert Walker. How you doing? Yeah, I have told a few on here. That would have to be in a different video. We're not talking about that today, Wavy, so I'm just gonna let you take a 24-hour timeout. Okay, Arizona Desert Walker says replay it is. Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Kathy Doherty, uh, for the one super chat I got today. Some days are better than others. Uh, okay. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you later if anything breaks on this. See ya.